Friends, gather round. Today we're diving into the wild world of the Federal Reserve. Buckle up, because this is a story about money, power, and maybe even a little bit of wizardry. The Federal Reserve was born in 1913, shrouded in secrecy on Jekyll Island. Its supposed goal? To stabilize the economy. Sounds nice, right? But like a late-night infomercial, the results may be less impressive than advertised.
The Federal Reserve, or the Fed as the cool kids call it, is America's central bank. It controls the money supply and sets interest rates. It's basically the financial puppet master of the United States. But here's the catch. The Fed isn't actually federal.
For over a century, the Fed has operated with a level of autonomy that would make a dictator blush. And that, my friends, is where things get a little dicey.
The Fed claims its independence is crucial. It needs to be free from political pressure to make tough decisions, they say. It's like letting a toddler decide what's for dinner. Sure, they might pick cookies and ketchup, but hey, at least they're independent thinkers. The problem is, this so-called independence has allowed the Fed to become a creature of Wall Street. Its policies often benefit big banks and financial institutions at the expense of everyday Americans. We're talking about bailouts for the wealthy, while Main Street struggles to make ends meet. This brings us to the magical money printer. You know, that mythical device that politicians love to blame for all our economic woes. Well, guess what? It's not a myth. The Fed has the power to create money out of thin air, and they use it a lot. This is called quantitative easing, or QE for short. It sounds technical, but it's actually quite simple. The Fed buys up bonds and other assets, injecting trillions of dollars into the financial system. Now, in theory, this is supposed to stimulate the economy, but in reality, it often just inflates asset bubbles, making the rich richer and leaving everyone else behind. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? Yeah, that was triggered in part by the Fed's loose monetary policy. But wait, there's more. It's not just the Fed that's playing fast and loose with your money. Our entire banking system is built on a foundation of sand, or more accurately, a foundation of fractional reserve banking.
Here's the gist. Banks only need to hold a fraction of the deposits they receive. The rest, they lend it out, creating new money in the process. It's basically a giant game of financial Jenga. As long as everyone keeps pretending everything is fine, the tower stands. But as soon as people lose confidence, bam! The whole thing comes crashing down.
This system is inherently unstable and prone to crises. Section 5. Behind closed vaults, the Fed's auditing black hole. Now, you might be thinking, surely there's some oversight, right? Someone must be keeping an eye on the Fed to make sure they're not pulling a fast one. Well, you'd be wrong.
Despite its name, the Federal Reserve is not subject to the same auditing standards as other government agencies. In fact, the Fed has never undergone a comprehensive, independent audit of its operations. Ever.
It's like letting a teenager manage your credit card and never asking for a receipt.
This lack of transparency is simply unacceptable. The American people deserve to know how their money is being created, spent, and manipulated.
Section 6, the Golden Age and Bitcoin's digital sparkle. Seeking monetary sanity. So what's the solution? Well, some people advocate for a return to the gold standard. You know, that system where money was actually backed by something tangible. It's not a perfect system, but at least it provided some semblance of stability and discipline.
Others believe the answer lies in a decentralized digital currency like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is often called digital gold for a reason. It's scarce, divisible, and resistant to censorship and manipulation. Unlike fiat currencies, which can be printed into oblivion, Bitcoin's supply is capped at 21 million coins. That's it. No more, no less. Section 7. Bitcoin, a 21st century fortress for your wealth. Imagine a world where your money can't be devalued by a central bank. A world where you don't have to trust shady bankers with your life savings. A world where transactions are secure, transparent, and accessible to everyone. That's the promise of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin operates on a decentralized network, meaning it's not controlled by any government or institution. Transactions are recorded on a public ledger called the blockchain, which is like a giant, immutable spreadsheet that anyone can view. This makes Bitcoin incredibly secure and resistant to fraud.
Section 8. Digital scarcity. Bitcoin's antidote to inflationary habits. One of Bitcoin's most important features is its digital scarcity. As I mentioned earlier, only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. This limited supply is hard-coded into Bitcoin's protocol and it cannot be changed.
This is in stark contrast to fiat currencies, which can be printed at will by central banks, leading to inflation and the erosion of purchasing power. Bitcoin's scarcity gives it inherent value.
As demand for Bitcoin increases and supply remains fixed, its price will naturally rise. This makes Bitcoin a powerful hedge against inflation and a store of value that can be passed down through generations.
Bitcoin, surprisingly good for the planet and your electric bill. It's true that Bitcoin mining, the process by which new Bitcoins are created, does require energy. But here's the thing, Bitcoin mining is actually incentivized to use renewable energy sources.
Miners are constantly looking for the cheapest energy available, and increasingly that means turning to solar, wind, and hydropower. In fact, studies have shown that Bitcoin mining is actually helping to drive innovation and investment in renewable energy.
Not only that, but Bitcoin mining can actually make our electric grid more resilient.
Section 10, time to pull back the curtain. A Bitcoin future beckons. So there you have it, the Federal Reserve. A century-old institution shrouded in secrecy, operating with little accountability and printing money like it's going out of style. It's time for a change.
It's time to embrace a more transparent, accountable, and equitable monetary system. Bitcoin may not be perfect, but it represents a step in the right direction.
The future of money is here. The question is, are we ready to embrace it?